All right, guys, welcome back to part 3. Garage is super dirty. We're working on this thing. Hopefully it'll start in this video. Might be the next video. It depends how long this one goes. But basically, we're trying to build this Blazer for $3,000 and put it in Cleetus' Burnout competition. And we got the 5.3 in it already. We got the Turbo 350 trans. Drive shaft is mostly in. We got to get a new U-joint for it. So I am currently working on the alternator. Got that put in with the stock bracket. I cut off all of the excess parts that were over here that actually held the idler pulley. So that's gone. And now the intake will be able to fit with this on there because we are going to use, crashing into stuff. I have this LS1 intake laying around, and we put a little throttle body on it, drive-by cable. And now that'll fit with the cutout modification on that. Also in the back, working on the gas tank and trying to do a sump for that. So we'll show you that here in a second. All right, so I got our harness laid out here, and I'm trying to go over everything since this is a little bit different from the Terminator X that we're used to working with. So back here, I have a little fuse center. This does have what they say is a fuel pump relay in here. Can't find where the lead that comes out of it is. I checked all these. It's not one of these. You have a lot of different stuff like tack. I think they have cruise control. You'll have your check engine light in here, basically all those. This wire is just your ignition, 12 volts. So we'll run that to a switch to turn everything on. Computer, this is where you can plug in your OBD sensor to check for codes. And then we come down, follow the harness up. Let's go. So the first thing we have is our right hand O2 sensor. Our other left hand is up there for that side of the harness. Over here is two things for transmission control. I believe we have vehicle speed sensor and maybe a reverse lockout or something like that. We're not going to use these for hours, so hopefully we can delete those. Coming up, we have this first one coming off this. So I've been kind of struggling with this one, but I know this is my crank. And then it says in the instructions, I believe these go to your starter. So I believe these will go together, and then we'll run from the battery to the starter here. And I guess this is where it gets all its power to power the rest of the harness is what I'm thinking. So that's that there. And then we come up, we have the passenger side. This is all your ignition to your coils on this big plug, and then all your injectors. And then this runs out. I believe this goes to a MAF. I'll have to check this one and get back to you. I'll write it down on the screen exactly what that one goes to. And then coming back, now going off the other side, this is probably our cam sensor. Then we have a ground. This is probably I'll have to check this one. Let me check real quick. All right, yeah, so going back, this one was our map sensor. So that's map there. And then the reason I didn't know this one, this is a knock sensor, which we never use those. Your left hand O2 sensor, and then same thing, now we got our left ignition, and then we have injectors. And then coming up, you have all your different, I believe this is our alternator. You'll have your intake air temperature, throttle position sensor. I think they even have a MAF sensor up there. Intake air temperature sensor, all that stuff kind of up there that all goes to your throttle body. So we're going to cut a 2-inch hole somewhere in the firewall right around here. There's a heater in there. I'll have to take that out since we're not going to need that. We'll run it through. It does come with a nice grommet on there, so that's good. We'll run it through and then start laying stuff on the engine. All right, guys, so we have made a ton of progress with the truck. A lot of the little stuff, like I did the fuel system, kind of did all that. We'll show you that in a minute, where we routed everything. I got the wiring harness in. You kind of saw me lay that over everything. Now we're waiting on a bunch of like little stuff and like test fitting things and being like, okay, I need to order this or I need to look at this. And then also we have Trenton is going to paint the truck, so he has everything taped off and kind of wet sanded down. So let's take a look. All right, so he wet sanded a lot of it. Back up a little bit. Wet sanded the truck and kind of taped everything off to kind of give it a quick paint job. So that'll be coming in a little bit. But yeah, we're working on a lot of the little stuff, the little details that is probably not super interesting to watch, but I'll tell you about it. You know, we got the coil packs on, injectors are out getting clean, so I'm going to swap these out. But you can see we got our fuel regulator there, return line is in. That's our feed line, which I'm waiting for a fitting to put in there. Feed line coming in and around, and I think it's underneath back there, but that'll connect to our stock fuel rail right here. Got new spark plugs in. I had to change the orientation of where the alternator was with our other bracket we had from the old Burnout truck. So we made up a lot of the spacers and got it on even with the crank pulley down there. Based on this intake and throttle body, it did not fit. So I wasn't able to make the alternator and everything fit here because it was kind of mounted right about here. And then also with the fill neck on this, so I did have to buy a new water pump, which is pretty good. We should have a new one on here anyway. The truck one comes up straight out of here and would hit. So right now I kind of have this at the wrong spacing. I bought these are for F body to space, or these space an F body pump out to truck spacing, but this is a LS3 pump to give us more clearance. So I got another spacer coming in to make this come out a little bit, because if you see, we're not perfectly aligned with that, so our belt would probably fall off, but we got a lot more space to run our fan now versus the truck one. A lot of stuff going on with transmission. We got our lines in, and we are going to mount, you kind of see our lines sort of back there. We're going to mount our trans cooler and trans fan under the truck in the back. So we took this header off just to help with getting those lines on, but it's pretty easy to put that back and forth. What else? Here we are trying the trans shifter, and we're trying to get something that works. It seems like the one that was in there might not work with how this cable is, so we're trying to figure all that out. Got the torque converter bolts all in, so that's good. Drive shaft is in with a new yoke. I'm gonna build another panel for it, which I'm gonna kind of use the same one we had in the S10 Burnout truck, and put it into this. And then we'll get to the wiring of the harness, of the stock harness. And I'm gonna go pick up the computer from Dillard tomorrow, and we'll get that all wired in. And hopefully Wednesday he will come here and do the tune, and we'll get it fired for the first time. So I got one more day of wiring and parts coming in, and then hopefully you guys will see it fire up here in the next couple clips. Also, we'll show you these awesome welds I got for it. These were a scratch and dent special I got. So I'm not going to count this towards the price, since you really don't have to buy expensive welds like this, but I am going to include the price of the tires, which I got some cheap ones used. I think they're freaking Tiger Paws or whatever, so super cheap, about 120 bucks for both of them. So we'll add that to the price, or at least the tire wise. All right, I got the panel from the old S10 Burnout truck. I put some new relays on it since I used the old ones on the S10. Gonna get this mounted in along with the battery I got mounted in there. I'll show you more once we get in there. Got the computer and everything in there. So just doing a whole bunch of wiring right now. So getting all the things wired, getting switches in and stuff. And I'll show you after I do that, because there really won't be a camera angle for you guys to see it. So yeah, once I finish that back up, I'll get with you guys. All right, guys. So we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dillard here. And he's going to get this thing. He already downloaded the tune, and she's ready to go, right?
Should be.
Should be?
Should be. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
I think we've got everything done. We did a bunch of wiring. Fluids are in. We're going to adjust fuel pressure.
Right.
There's no water in it right now, so we can't run it for long. But
just check over all the sensors, make sure everything's happy and ready to go, and we'll hope for the best.
See what happens. See if we got some oil pressure. We do have a fuel leak, but we're going to send it for right now. Yeah. So let's get this. Go ahead and try it.
Turn the pump on. Working back through, maybe.
All right, fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Fuel pump.
Yeah.
All right, well, we went to start it, and there was some smoke puffing out of the water pump, which definitely is not ideal. And
yeah, there's no belt hooked up.
There's
to
no
anything.
belt.
There's no reason it should be smoking.
So it kind of looks like if we come in here that there's no head gasket on here. So I guess the guy I got it from took it apart, took the head gaskets out, and then put it back together and sold it to me. He told me it was a running and driving car or a running engine. So
Yeah, right.
I guess at this point we're gonna tear it down, put some head gaskets on it, put it back together. Can you reuse head bolts? You're not supposed to, right?
You're not supposed to, but you know.
I mean, at the end of this,
don't
it's probably
ask, don't tell kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, what about some tunage? Do you think the tune's still should be all right? All right. Well, I guess we'll time lapse us tearing it down.
All right, so after we discovered that there was no head gaskets on this motor, we tore apart the top end. Honestly, probably didn't take us 20 minutes to do. Discovered that steering column is in the way of getting that last bolt out, so I'm about to yank the steering column because that seems easier than pulling a motor right now. And Eric is headed right now to get head gaskets from Surely Advanced has LS head gaskets, I hope, and put this thing back together. Fun.
All right, here's our proof. We're putting new head gaskets on it. These were dang $75 a piece, so it's gonna blow through the budget. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, let's get this thing back together. All right, we got it all back together, and we're gonna go for start number 2. Definitely has a lot more compression now, because that's definitely needed, right, Trent? Tyler?
Compression is important.
Yep. All right, let's fire her up.
Well, guys, if we've learned one thing this week is don't trust what people say. Check everything. I already kind of knew that, but just reiterated it with us since
A pickup tube is probably important in
Yeah.
the engine.
the guy sold us a motor, said it's running and driving and good to go with no head gaskets and no oil pickup tube on it. So as of now, we've got the engine off the motor mounts, lifted up the cherry picker, have the oil pan drop down, and we're attempting to get an oil pickup tube in there right now. All right, so this is our current situation. We got motor on the cherry picker, oil pan dropped. Eric has the oil dipstick or oil pickup kind of stuck over here. So
I got stuck.
there he goes. Wasn't gonna work that way, so we got it up a little bit higher. We took the exhaust off. That was stopping us from going up. Now, hopefully, it will go in this front. Would be awesome, but we also don't know.
I just feel like this way is gonna be tough.
Oh, that's it. Yes.
There we go.
Nice. All right. Hopefully when we come back, we will be back together. They ain't turning those motherfuckers over.
It just pushed up the tires.
Yeah, they ain't turning that over.
All right, guys, the day we're supposed to leave, still got the truck in here. It's not even painted yet. Was up late doing even more, figuring out a few little things with transmission and stuff. We got it out there. You just saw the clip of it. Kind of doing a burnout. These tires back here are huge, so it was tough to spin it over or spin them. But we got a few other things sorted out. We're going to put a little bit more transmission fluid in, and we'll probably give it another shot, hit this with some paint, and then we're going to head out there because hopefully she's ready to do a burnout. We hope. I think that the tires are just so big, and that's why I was having a struggle turning them over. So let's go try one more time and then load her up. All right, we'll also take a look at the budget. Last time we looked, we were about $141 left, and then we completely blew the budget out of the water. Went 18 for a throttle cable oil level sensor was $8. Trans dipstick was $23. I went ahead and just got trans lines that were made up. That was $45. Fluids, $150 between the trans fluid and then fluid for the LS. All that stuff came out to about $150 with a few other things. Head gaskets, since this thing did not have head gaskets and we had to buy them at the store. Only ones in stock were like the $75, if not more ones. So I think that came to $175. Water pump, since we had to change that, that was $100. And then I just added a round figure of $300 in for miscellaneous stuff. And that would put us at over budget by $678. So this is a great time to tell you guys that most projects end up going over budget. But I would still say we're in the $3,000 mark. We didn't hit $4,000. So yeah, it's normally, you know, you say the project's going to cost $3,000, then it costs $4,000, another $1,000. That's not so bad. And if we end up winning, it only cost us $600 to have some fun. I'm for it. His events are so much fun, Cleetus' events. And yeah, now back to hopefully doing another skid in this. Turbo can versus Blazer. Let's go.
All right, so I don't think we filmed it earlier, but we tried a burnout and it was wheel hopping like crazy. So we went and found the only auto parts store to offer stock shocks for an 86 Blazer. They just happened to be not too far away. Put some on it real quick, and hopefully it's going to be a lot prettier of a burnout than it was a second ago.
Only hope.
How about those taillights? Things are red. Pretty sure that was second gear. Attempt number 2 in first gear this time instead of second gear. Much better. No wheel hop. That's what we want. And as we do with every burnout competition we do, we get one decent burnout and we load it on the trailer and go try to do a decent burnout at the contest.